What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What if I told you that you have been playing the fried liver attack the wrong way? Or not really the wrong way, but I feel you just complicate matters. Which is why in this video, I'm going to show you the right way or the grandmaster way of playing the fried liver attack. I'm already excited for this study, so if you will find it helpful, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because that encourages me to keep on working harder. Let's get started. So first of all, let's look at how you play your fried liver attack. As a beginner or an intermediate level player, you start with e4, then black goes pawn to e5, knight f3, knight c6, then bishop c4, called the Italian game. Now you already know that the fried liver attack happens in the two knights defense, where black plays knight f6. Of course, black can play bishop c5 on move 3, but I already covered this move in the video that has popped up in the card above. You can check it out. So today we are looking at the two knights defense, where you have an opportunity to play the fried liver attack with knight g5, double attacking the weak f7 square. And of course, the top played move in this position is pawn to d5, after which you just capture back, and then black plays knight takes d5. At the end of this video, I'm also going to show you what to do if black plays the main move knight a5. So let's start with knight takes d5. After this, your grandpapa or your old coach advised you to take on f7 with your knight. That is okay, it's not a mistake, but at beginner level and intermediate level, it is still not that easy for you to convert. First of all, you're not mating anytime soon. It's not even clear how you can go about it. Secondly, you still have to work for your meal. Thirdly, black can hold on to an extra piece, though the game will still be equal. And lastly, the fried liver attack needs continuous attacking. So once you stop attacking, black may come back into the game. For example, if black takes your free knight and then you go queen f3 check, they can just hold on to their knight with king e6, let's say knight c3, putting more pressure on the d5 knight. Well, black has knight b4, paving way for his c-pawn, protecting that knight. If you want to believe what I'm talking about, check the eval bar. It only takes one reluctant, obvious move like pawn to a3 for black to come back into the game. You can see how the eval bar has changed in favor of black with a negative 1.1 advantage. So if you want to play the fried liver attack this way, then you need to continue being accurate and aggressive, otherwise things can hit back so badly, which is why I want to show you what masters do instead of sacrificing the knight on f7. Let disaster begin. Here we go. So once again, you start with e4, then black plays e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, then black plays the two knights defense, knight to f6, just go knight g5, and after pawn to d5, just take that pawn. And this time, if black takes on d5, you don't sacrifice your knight on f7 right away, but instead you play this mastery move, pawn to d5, which is kind of a quiet move, but it also paves way for your dark squared bishop. This one move will lead to many traps that you didn't know, guys. Let me show you. The top played move, for example, is knight takes d4. That's what everybody plays, even in the Masters Database. So the way you begin your attack right on move 7 is with pawn to c3. And look at this, the top played moves in the Lichess Database are all blunders, which is a good sign, you guys. For example, if black plays knight c6, the second most played move, they are going to lose a free piece right away after bishop takes d5, game over. But let's say they play the top played move, instead of knight c6, they rather go knight e6. Well, you still want to take the free knight on d5, but not with your bishop. You need to take with your queen, so that if knight takes g5, you win black's free knight with tempo while checking them. So once again, you are just up a full piece right on move 10. Let me know how you think about this way of playing the fried liver attack. By the way, this is called the Lolli Attack, just in case you didn't know. So let's see the right response for black instead of playing knight c6 or knight e6 on move 7. So for example, if I check in the Masters Database, I already see the move pawn to b5, which is the top played move and the top stockfish move. Well, even after pawn to b5, you still have ways to surprise your opponent. For example, the best move is bishop d3, but bishop takes d5 is still not much of a stretch. If queen takes d5, you can go ahead and take the free knight, but at the expense of a piece, black is going to win at least 3 of your pawns. For example, bishop b7, the move you want to play is king e2, but anyways, your d4 pawn is already dead, so you can play a desperado move like pawn to d5, let them take, and then you go king e2. Yes, you are up a piece, but Stockfish considers this to be an equal game because black has 3 pawns for a knight. So this is okay, but let me show you the professional way of continuing this instead of giving up your 3 pawns for a knight. So once again, back to the initial position of the Lolli attack where you play pawn to d4 instead of sacrificing your knight. So after knight takes d4, you still go c3, and after the correct move, pawn to b5, the best move in this position, instead of taking on d5, is bishop d3. You can see that black's knight on d4 is still under attack, which is why they play knight e6, the top played move. But again, this turns out to be a big blunder because of this intermediate move, bishop takes b5 check. Look at this, guys. The top played move is bishop d7, which is a blunder again because that allows you to capture the free knight on d5, and it doesn't even matter what black can do here. For example, knight takes g5, you can take the knight or play the best move, bishop takes d7 check. First of all, if queen takes d7, the rook on a8 will fall, and if king e7, the top played move again, you have bishop takes g5 check. In the process, you ended up winning almost every piece for black. Do you still believe the fried liver attack is better than this? Let me know in the comment section, you guys. To be honest, that's how you actively engage with my videos. It's not just about watching and giving likes. Besides, I also want to learn of your existence. Just leave a comment or a thank you in the comment section. Anyways, let's move on. Back to our Lolli attack initial position. Remember, we just finished looking at what to do after knight takes d4, the top played move. But what if black plays e takes d4? Well, once again, you don't rush to take on f7 like what most white players do. This is a bad move, guys, because your e-file is already open and your king is exposed. Not to mention that black doesn't have to take your free knight with his king. All they have to do is to play queen e7 check and win this knight with tempo. By the way, queen e2 can't help due to queen takes. And let's say after king takes, black can just take your knight, and after bishop takes with check, king g6 makes a lot of sense. And still material is equal despite black being ahead in development with an active position. So the move that I want you to play is simply castle shot instead of taking. And now you can see the top played move in the Lichess database is bishop e7 followed by bishop e6. Well, these are the most common moves even in the Masters database, as you can see, bishop e6 and bishop e7, by the way, which are both blunders. For example, bishop e7, well, this is when you can sacrifice your knight on f7 because your king this time is not exposed, so black has to take your knight, and now you go queen f3 check, and this time black doesn't even have king e6, which they play in the normal fried liver attack because our e-file is open. So we have rook e1 check. If black is not careful and play the second most played move, king d6, played by over 1000 people, this can lead to mate in one, ladies and gentlemen. What a funny way to win the game of chess. Anyways, instead of king d6, if black plays king e5, blocking the check, since they can't use their elbow to block the check, well, you still have bishop f4, adding more salt to the wound. If bishop d6 by black, you have queen takes d5, and if bishop f6, you can still take on e5, so that after bishop takes, you just simplify everything. By the way, queen f6 doesn't help because of pawn to f4, and black's bishop is dead. Back to our initial position, we just played pawn to d4 rather than sacking our knight, and we are still looking at the e takes d4 line. Again, just castle shot. We just finished looking at bishop e7, the top played move where you need to sacrifice your knight. But what happens if black plays bishop e6? Well, since this time you cannot sacrifice your knight on f7, just play rook e1, and after bishop e7, the top played move, by the way, which is a blunder. Yet again, there is a beautiful sacrifice here that I want you guys to keep in your mind always. It is not knight takes e6, the top played move in the Lichess database, even though that's fine, but be more creative, you guys. Rook takes e6 is the way to go, because if f takes e6, you have knight takes e6, also attacking black's queen. They play queen d6, by the way. Let me ask you a quick question. What do you do in this position? Do you take on g7 with check and move on with life, or there's a better move that you can play in this position? Most advanced players can solve this with one eyeball. The move is bishop takes d5 because that's just a free knight. How is that a free knight? Because if black takes, you have knight takes c7 check, and at the same time attacking the queen on d5. So that's why black cannot take your bishop. They better play king d7. Now that two of your minor pieces are under attack, you simply go pawn to c4, defending everything. I mean, if black takes with ampersand, d takes c3, you have knight takes c3, renewing the defense. And let's say knight b4, you go bishop f4, by the way, attacking this queen. Let's say queen b6, you have bishop b3, discovery check, king c8. I mean, there's just so many things that you can do. Honestly speaking, I think this is better than the fried liver attack, you guys, and very simple to understand. Anyways, let's move on. Back to our Lolli attack initial position. So far we have looked at knight takes d4 and e takes d4. But what if black plays bishop e7 after we play pawn to d4? For example, bishop e7. Well, the problem with this is that it immediately invites the fried liver attack move, knight takes f7. Although this line is different from the actual fried liver attack line due to our new pawn on d4 right here. If king takes f7, you still go queen f3 check. If king e6, you continue playing your normal fried liver attack with knight c3. What's the difference? The difference is that our pawn is already on d4, so we are putting more pressure on the e5 pawn. If knight b4, for example, we don't even have to play pawn to a3. That's not good. The move is castle shot, and if pawn to c6 this time, because our pawn is already on d4, we can play rook e1, and next we want to take on e5 with check. If bishop f6, the top played move, there are so many ways to kill a rat. For example, queen g3 is a move, but I like d takes e5 because this is a direct threat. If bishop takes e5, we have bishop f4, pinning the bishop to the king. If bishop e7, we have pawn to a3. If black takes, double attacking our rooks. Well, no need to memorize, just come up with your better attacking plan like rook d1, because there are so many sacrifices that we can make here. For example, if rook f8 by black, for whatever reasons, we have queen e4. By the way, knight takes a1 doesn't work because we can simply sacrifice our knight on d5. Black can't do anything. If c takes d5, we have rook takes. And there is a big problem to do with discovery check. If black doesn't take back on d5 and let's say goes king d7, we can simply take the poor bishop with check, discovery by our rook, and whatever black does, we're going to win his queen on d8. So this is just to show you how impossible the bishop e7 line is back on move 6. Because once again, you can just take on f7. You play this in the normal fried liver attack style. And whenever you see knight before, you just castle shot. But there are times when black may just go ahead and take your d4 pawn, which you already played, instead of going knight b4. Well, this time you can just play bishop takes d5 with check. That's just a free knight, by the way. If king d6, you just go queen d3, protecting your c2 pawn. And on the next move, you're going to rescue your bishop. Deal done. Anyhow, enough of bishop e7. We also looked at e takes d4 and knight takes d4 in this initial position. By the way, if you're still thinking of bishop b4 check, we can simply go c3. Black has to play bishop e7, where we can again sack our knight on f7, and after king takes, we play the same things that we have been talking about. Next, you want to go rook e1 and start putting more pressure on this pawn. In the near future, you have bishop f4, maybe queen g3 or queen e4, depending on black's responses. So this is just about everything you needed to know in our new fried liver attack, or the so-called Lolli attack. Now, before I end this video, let me show you how you can continue in case black plays the normal two knights defense, which completely avoids the fried liver attack. So let's say you try to play your advanced fried liver attack with knight g5, d5, and pawn takes. Then this time black doesn't take on d5, allowing you to play your Lolli attack or the fried liver attack, and rather go on knight a5, the main continuation in the two knights defense. Well, this attacks your bishop, so the main line goes as follows: bishop b5 check, pawn to c6 blocking the check, then you take on c6 after pawn takes. Your light squared bishop only has one active square to go to. Theoretically speaking, it must be placed on d3, over controlling the e4 square. How? Because if black plays pawn to h6 anytime, you can safely put your knight on e4, so that if knight takes, you can take back with your bishop, and that's okay for your eyeballs. If pawn to f5, which is the top played move in the Lichess database, I don't know what's wrong with people, but this is a blunder, you guys, because you have queen h5 check. If king e7, the top played move, you can just take back that pawn and simplify the game. The king is still on the center, so black will find it difficult to improve his position, not to mention that these isolated pawns for black look bad. So just remember to retreat your bishop on d3, not on e2 or on f1. So that's the key. By the way, even if black doesn't take your knight on e4 and let's say they go knight d5, well, you can just go ahead and castle short. Once again, there's no pawn to f5 due to queen h5 check. And if bishop e7, well, you can just pave way for your light squared bishop, knight g3. I mean, it wasn't doing anything on e4. If castle short, your bishop on d3 already did its job of supporting knight e4. So now that your knight is safe, how do you improve your light squared bishop? Well, by getting rid of it in this way. So you want to exchange it. Bishop takes f5 by black is bad because that will help you activate your knight on a better square. So that's why they all play bishop a6, counter-attacking your rook. The best you can do is just to go pawn to d3, and after rook e8, the top played move, there are so many things you can do. Knight d2, or even better knight c3, which is more active. I think if knight takes, you're just going to simplify the game. By the way, you are just up a pawn in this two knights defense main line, so you have nothing to worry about. If g6, there's even this line where you can sacrifice your light squared bishop, because if they take it, you take with your knight. Next, you want to go queen g4 check and win everything. If bishop g5, you still go queen g4, because if pawn to f6, h4 is a killer. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and on showing you all these traps, but you know how it works. YouTube viewers don't like spending hours watching the same thing on YouTube, which is why I created a separate Patreon page where you can find my extra videos like this one, which I just posted, the King's Indian Attack, showing you the nuances and some fresh ideas in the King's Indian Attack. So you can go to my Patreon page. The link is in the comment section down below, and you will find some of my extra videos that I post on a weekly basis and all the master PJNs for my studies. You can also visit www.kasperchess.com to get my courses that I believe will help you in your chess journey. Hey guys, thank you for watching my video. Until next time, bye bye.